the U.S. has carried out a sixth consecutive night of strikes on Iran. U.S. Central Command says it hit dozens of military targets using fighter jets, drones, and warships. Meanwhile, Iranian media is reporting the latest round of U.S. attacks hit infrastructure, including bridges, a train station, and an airport. Joining me now is global affairs analyst Jonathan Wachtel. Jonathan, thank you so much for your time today. We appreciate it. So we are now 6 nights into this latest round of strikes from the U.S., right? So how is it affecting any potential peace deal? And are we basically at a standstill right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's kinetic, obviously, what's going on, Mugo. So, these I would call sort of a war of attrition going on in that it's not full-scale war, but there is fighting going on. And Gulf countries and Jordan and reports that Syria also have been hit as a retaliatory thing from the Iranians each time. So there's this back and forth. So the violence, the energy is still there, and this could certainly escalate into full-scale war again. It seems that the Trump administration and the U.S. position on this right now is that there's a little bit of leverage that's come in. The disruption that we saw earlier on in the markets, oil being high and all that, seems to have settled down a bit. That allows for this type of energy to be going on. There's a lot of traction happening in Lebanon between the Israelis and the Lebanese government that is marginalizing Hezbollah, making them extremely angry and wanting to lash out. And that, of course, is weakening Tehran's grip on power, because that's one of their crown jewels in terms of their foreign policy agenda or their geopolitical aspirations. So we're in a different picture a little bit.
And CENTCOM says more than 50,000 U.S. military personnel are currently deployed across the Middle East. So could we see a surge in deployments as this violence escalates?
There's certainly, that's a lot of people, right? That's a lot of trained military personnel who can cause tremendous damage to Iranian goals in trying to maintain control over the Strait of Hormuz. So, that number could certainly get in and do certain things that we've all heard, headlines about Harg Island and some of these other assets the Iranians have and really work out some big trouble. But one would anticipate that if we're going to go to full-scale war again, that certainly at least those numbers, if you have a pull away of the military power and position, that's also a telltale sign. But the ships are deployed in such a way that they're closer. And the activity that we're seeing is speaking very much. All the energy, certainly from the U.S. military, has been focused on the Strait of Hormuz, and to try to ensure that the free passage of oil and natural gas and fertilizer and other items is able to transit without this asymmetrical attacking that the Iranians have been pulling off.